What is going on, guys? Your boy Gamer's Goon here today to go over, I think you all know what I'm going to go over. You saw the thumbnail, you see the title of this video. I think we all knew this day was inevitably going to come. We all knew that this was probably going to happen sooner than later. But I think as wrestling fans, we all dreaded to hear what we came to know today in specific. So earlier today, the last ride for the Undertaker, the documentary series of him going on, the final words of the Undertaker in this series are, "At this point in my life and in my career, I have no desire to get back in the ring. This time the cowboy really rides away." And as fans, I think everybody's gonna gravitate to it and pick apart it. But the moral of the story here is Undertaker is retiring. I don't see this as his retirement. Undertaker retires on his own terms after a documentary regarding his career. He's not going to come back. He's not going to have more cinematic matches. I think this is the actual final match. The Boneyard match was the final match that we were going to see from The Undertaker. I believed that he probably, at WrestleMania 33, when he lost to Roman, I thought that was his send-away. It wasn't. I always pictured Undertaker getting one of those send-aways where you have everybody just chanting, "Thank you, Taker." But on the way they went about making the documentary to highlight everything that's happened to Undertaker's career, and then for him to say those final words that it's time that the cowboy really rides away, I think this is the final thing. I think this is Undertaker saying, you know what, I'm going to end it on my terms. I'm not going to lose a match. I'm not going to bury some other young talent. I'm just going to end it because Undertaker, Mark Calloway, is getting old. Mark Calloway, we all know he has back problems. Mark Calloway, we know the man has health concerns. And every time we see him in the ring, until the Boneyard match was really good, don't get me wrong. But a lot of the times up till then, we just look at Undertaker and he looked worn down. He doesn't remind us of the Undertaker that we saw 10 years ago. And that's unfortunate that a guy like the Undertaker, a legend, an icon in the professional wrestling business, we saw him deteriorate in front of our own eyes. It really is disheartening to see that. But this way, you have Undertaker end it on Undertaker's terms. Mark Calloway is calling it quits after they make light of his entire career. The best way you could possibly go out. Everybody was clamoring about the last ride, and here you go. Here you have it. The Undertaker ends his professional wrestling career through his very own documentary. Now, I do want to mention some things about the Undertaker, and I have some things pulled up here, but let me tell you my experience with the Undertaker. So I was not always an Undertaker fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, he's been my favorite since I'm young." I'm not. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna sit here and lie to you like that. At first, I hated the Undertaker. Why did I hate the Undertaker? A lot of people will go back and say WrestleMania 25 is their favorite match of all time. However, to me, my favorite match of all time is WrestleMania 26. That is because Shawn Michaels, HBK, was my favorite of all time. The Heartbreak Kid. He grew on me when they revitalized DX back then. Went to a couple house shows with DX. Got the glow sticks. Shawn Michaels was the guy. That was my first WrestleMania watching live on TV. I got to sit down for the first time. Up till this point, I didn't watch any WrestleManias, but I sat there begging my dad to buy this pay-per-view for the longest time. And on that night, he said, "You know what? We'll do it. We're going to get the pay-per-view." And I didn't care about anything on this card. Not a single thing. I cannot tell you what happened on this card. I went back and watched WrestleMania 26 just for this match multiple times. I can't tell you what else happened on that card because I honestly do not remember and did not care at the time, because it would have been 2010, meaning I would have been 8 years old. Because that happened in 2010. I think I was turning 8, because I believe that happened in April, and I wouldn't turn 8 until May. So I would have been 7 watching that match. And the entire night, the only thing I was looking forward to was to see this match. Streak versus career. We have The Undertaker defending what is precious to him, and you have Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels, defending his career, the thing that was most precious to him. And the story goes that you had Shawn Michaels come this close at WrestleMania 25. This close. He couldn't do it, but he came close at WrestleMania 25 in a very good match that I have definitely gone back and seen since then. And I have to say, overall, that is the best match out of the two, but the other match carries a whole lot more significance to me because of who was in that match and what happened after that match. But this match was a match that was built for over a year. This match was Shawn Michaels' redemption. Shawn Michaels thought he couldn't cut it. Shawn Michaels thought, you know what? I want a second chance because I know in the bottom of my heart I can beat Undertaker. The Undertaker wasn't going to give him the opportunity until Shawn Michaels took it into his own hands and showed up. And the Undertaker said, you know what? You're going to have to put your streak, or you're going to have to put your career up if you want to defeat my streak. Shawn Michaels obviously agreed to the terms. And that's how we got to WrestleMania 26. That's how we got to me being desperate to see this match, because I wanted to see whether or not my favorite of all time would have more matches in the future. I wanted to see if this was the last match of Shawn Michaels' career, and as we all know, it ended up being. I can't tell you how much I hated The Undertaker after that, because I was a 7-8-year-old kid. This was before I knew about kayfabe. This was before I knew that they booked this. It's before I knew that Undertaker's just playing a character. I could not tell you how much I hated this guy. I had nightmares of this guy. It wasn't until WrestleMania 30 when finally he was dehumanized by Brock Lesnar that I actually learned to respect The Undertaker. And it's not because this miraculous streak, the thing that was probably the most precious thing in all of wrestling history, was gone. It's because you look at everybody else's reactions, and what was I? That would have been 4 years after WrestleMania 26. I would have been like 12, maybe 13. So I'm still catching up with everybody to learn about who The Undertaker is. And I'm looking at the crowd after The Undertaker loses. Mind you, I'm not a big fan of either at this point. And I see everybody. There's people in the crowd crying. There's people in the crowd. I'm sure you know who the dude is, the Undertaker guy. The Say What guy, that's like that guy that sat front row. We've all seen him in the memes. Everybody's reaction to that match, I was like, why does everybody care about this Undertaker guy? Then obviously, as I grow up, I come to see some of his better matches. I come to see King of the Ring 1998 against Mankind, where that's the match where Mankind was beat pretty bad, thrown through the cell. That was the match where Mankind basically ruined his life. Mick Foley ruined his life in that match. Mick Foley never was the same after falling off that cell or falling through that cell. Mick Foley goes on to speak about that match a lot now. That's probably one of the most iconic matches in both men's career and probably a lot of wrestling in general. If you look at what's your favorite Hell in a Cell match, it's that match. I can't tell you a better Hell in a Cell match than that. I've gone back and I've watched that match multiple times. And I wasn't even alive for that match. And to see everybody grow this appreciation towards The Undertaker, I realized, you know what? Yeah, he might be a character, but at the end of the day, he is doing his job. And At the end of the day, this guy has been one of the best for the past decade. And I'm looking at The Undertaker now, and I grew a respect to him. And it wasn't really something that I really understood at first, like I said, but my favorite moment with The Undertaker isn't even these moments where he beat Shawn Michaels, or where he beat Triple H at WrestleMania 27, or where he lost the streak, because I don't even think he should have ever lost the streak at this point. WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns. I like that moment because it's the sale. It was set up to be the final moment of The Undertaker's career. He's going to walk away. As we know, that wasn't the case. My favorite moment is a moment that probably shouldn't even have happened. I don't think he should have made it to WrestleMania 34, but I was there at WrestleMania 34 when he came out for John Cena. Why is that a favorite moment of mine? Because that was the first time I ever got to see The Undertaker live and in person. I don't know about you guys. If you've ever been to a WrestleMania or even a SmackDown or whatever, if you're there while The Undertaker is there, it is a different vibe in that building. It's kind of like the Brock Lesnar vibe. I say it time and time again with Brock Lesnar. You might not like the guy, but he gets the big fight feel in that building. You just feel some type of way when you get in the building. There's some energy in it. Except this was, I don't even know how to describe it. This was more than whatever Brock Lesnar brings into an arena. When you see the legend, The Undertaker, walk down to his music and to the smoke and wearing the hat, you look at this guy as he's walking down and you're just sitting there. It's just mesmerizing. It really is. I don't even know how to put it. And you're just in awe. That is all I can say. You're in awe. And that match wasn't anything special with Cena. We all know how it went. Very quick match. Undertaker won. But the thing is, that's my favorite moment because I got to experience what it was like to be in the arena while The Undertaker, out of all people, were walking into that. And I said that was going to be one of the things. If you go back and watch my WrestleMania 34 predictions and preview and my travel plans video, that was one of the things I was looking forward to. Because I knew exactly what The Undertaker meant to everybody else in that arena. And now that The Undertaker's gone, I can't say that I'm heartbroken because he's not been always one of my favorite, but it's definitely weird to see somebody that at one point in my life I absolutely despised just because he took out my favorite. Just because he played his role perfectly. And then I grew to respect him. It's just weird that at the end of the day, there's not going to be a Mark Calloway. There's not going to be an Undertaker at WrestleMania. It's going to be different. That's going to be something you have to get used to. That's unfortunate, but with all things being said, The Undertaker has had a miraculous career. On top of that, The Undertaker 100% deserves all the respect in the world. The man is a very good man. Mark Calloway himself, he's put himself through the reins multiple times. He's probably came back way too many times than he's needed to. Put his body on the line, put his career on the line, put his life on the line way too many times than he needed to. He could have been done. He could have been done at WrestleMania 30. He could have waited. He could have been off and in retirement for the last 6 years, but he did it out of the love for the business. He came back for the love of the business. Now, I know this isn't The Undertaker that some of you grew up with, 2002, 2003. He's there. He's there weekly. He's there on the monthly pay-per-views. That's not the Undertaker we've had. I don't even remember the last time Undertaker was weekly. Probably 2011, maybe 2012. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, at the end of the day, if you're a professional wrestling fan, you should, and I hope you do, have the utmost respect for an individual like Mark Calloway. Because at the end of the night, at the end of the day, when the lights turn off, when the final bell rings, that man knows how to do his job. He did it to perfection. And he himself was probably the best creation, best gimmick, best of anything that's ever happened in the WWE. That is what Mark Calloway means to me. That's what Mark Calloway deserves in terms of respect. And that's what Mark Calloway's legacy is going to be. He meant a lot to everybody because everybody saw this guy as one of the most respectable human beings on the face of this earth. He's not just a legend in wrestling. This man, he held a 21-0 record at WrestleMania. This man went on to continue to hold that record. He's only lost twice at WrestleMania. Twice. In how many years of WrestleMania? The man is a living legend. The man is probably the most iconic wrestler of all time. And the man is an iconic sports figure. Not just wrestling. Sports figure. One of the most inspirational people in the entirety of sports entertainment. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. I also want to thank the Undertaker himself, Mark Calloway. Thank you for being in professional wrestling, for being in the WWE over these past however many years you've been there. I mean, you've been there for the past 2 decades, it seems like, man. But anyways, the Undertaker, thank you for doing what you did for the professional wrestling business. Thank you for opening up the doors for some of the guys that might not have the best wrestling ability, but they can get by off gimmick alone, just like you. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler, but Undertaker's gimmick is one of the best to ever exist. He can make anything into something very serious, and that is something that can't be taught. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you click that notification bell. Make sure you go over on GamersGoonYT on Twitter. Follow over there. And out of respect for The Undertaker, I don't care if you guys come back to my videos. I really don't. That is up to you if you guys like what I bring to the table. But I want you guys to please, if you are watching this video still, please comment #ThankYouTaker down below so that I know that you share the same respect that for The Undertaker that I do and that I've came to know a lot of other fans to see in The Undertaker. Anyways, thank you, Mark Calloway. Thank you, Undertaker.